In this video, we are going to be critiquing my own work. Now, if you are a sub of the channel, you will know that I do subscriber face value critiques. Now, if you want to be involved in this, all you need to do is go to Instagram and hashtag your images with hashtag #RavageRating. But I know sometimes these critiques can be insanely hard to hear. And I know what some of you guys might be thinking. A 2? He's gave me a 2. What the f***? How dare he that unsubscribe? So you see guys, I understand critiques can be hard and it is hard to hear, especially if you are proud of the piece that you have done. But I always recommend that as an artist, you self-critique your own work. If you cannot see flaws in your own work, you will never ever get better. Now, before we go on to the self-critiques, I just want to speak to you. So let's zoom you in. Let's get in close. Mano I mano, mano I womano, mano I whatever you identify as. Sometimes I get DMs, right? And those DMs are just asking for a critique, which is absolutely fine. You can send me DMs. However, I may miss those DMs when it comes to critiquing your work. So it's always best to use the hashtag #RavageRating. However, sometimes I get these messages that just say critique or here's my work critique. Guys, please let me just give you a little passionate embrace. You need to at least tickle my taint or caress my balls. Don't just come straight in there with critique. Warm up to it, guys. I like a little bit of foreplay, please. And if you don't want to tickle my taint or caress my balls, then at least start your message with hey or hi. Please. Now we are going to do the tattoos in order that they were done. These are the 3 tattoos right here. It is a Frankenstein and the 2 POVs that I've recently done. The Otis from Devil's Rejects and the V for Vendetta tattoo that was put up a few days ago. I do want to apologize if you see me looking down a lot. It is because I'm looking at the image on my phone. So starting with the Frankenstein tattoo. Straight off the bat, the initial thing that gets me is the forehead. The forehead isn't quite dark enough. I wish I'd have done that forehead a lot darker than it was. Also, the black on the left side of that forehead could have been blended in just a little bit better. Now, what I might have done is I might have faded off that black a little bit to get that blend, but because the tone in the forehead isn't dark enough, it doesn't quite give the blend that I was wanting. So the black stands out quite a lot, and it wasn't that prominent. The black wasn't that prominent against the rest of that forehead. So the forehead, number 1, needs to be darker. Now we all know I've been tattooing quite a while now. I'm getting up there in tattoo years, over a decade. So my fundamentals are quite good. So we're not going to judge any of that. So this is just going to be a lot of nitpicking, but these are the nitpicks that I would actually point out to myself to get better. Now next, I would say that the texture could have been a lot more and it could have been mixed up a little bit. On the image, this texture was all over the face. It practically covered the face. The whole face was texture. And what I did is I went in and got the texture, but I didn't vary up the texture. I used one or two needles to get texture in, but I wish that I had just concentrated a little bit more on texture to get the variation of texture by making textures bigger or smaller, you know, giving different looks to texture rather than just using one or two needles throughout. So I wish that I'd got variation in that texture for sure. The left hand side of the cheek, I do wish there was a lot more texture in that, a lot more. Now, good thing is I can go back in and put these things in, but we are talking about at the time and we are critiquing, and there could be a lot more texture on that left hand side of the cheek. Now moving down onto the lightning, what I wish I'd done on this bit is fully saturate and then put the lightning over the top. You can see that I've left a nice skin break at the left and right of that lightning. I do wish I'd fully saturated that. Now the lightning bolt that you can see that goes across the actual switch, there's no like light source on the underneath of that. If lightning was going across that, there would be a light source on the underneath, and it was just an oversight on my part. But you know, this is a critique, and that is what I could have done better. Underneath that one particular lightning bolt, I could have left a lighter tone on the underneath, so you got the fact that it was, you know, a flash of light. But I think overall it's a pretty good tattoo, to be honest. It's not a bad tattoo. On to the next. Now the next one is from the first POV that I did, which is of Otis from the Devil's Reject. Now first off, the reference for this wasn't the best at all. It was off of a 350 pixels times by like 200 and something pixels. It wasn't great at all. If I'd have spent the time to get a better picture, then I wish I'd have done that. So that'd be the first critique. Try my best to get a better image. It's as simple as that. However, getting into the tattoo itself, above the police sign, there's blood on the chest, and I think that blood works really well. I can't lie, I think it looks great. However, underneath that blood, he actually has a tattoo on his chest, which is like a death bat. It looks like almost like an Avenged Sevenfold logo tattoo. I wish I'd have put that on. The reason I didn't put it on is because, like I said, the reference was rubbish, and I couldn't quite make out the entire tattoo, and I didn't want to do a bad job, and I knew that the blood would cover. However, you would still see that tattoo coming through that blood, especially in the lighter parts. So I wish that I could have got that on, or I wish I would have tried to get that on a lot better than I did. Whether that being going and finding a better image of that tattoo and then photoshopping it onto the chest, just something like that. I wish I'd have done that. Now moving up on to the beard. Now everybody loves this beard, and I like this beard. I think it's a good beard. It's got that puffiness to it. It looks nice and thick. There's a lot of flow in there. However, is it authentic to the beard on the image? No, it is not. Again, bad reference. I could only get the flow and direction of where the beard was going, and I wish what I'd done again is Photoshop an actual beard onto his face from another Devil's Reject Otis image, just to give me some more authenticity to his actual beard. But yeah, that's what I wish I'd done on that. Now moving on to the hair, for the most part I'm happy with the hair. I just wish I'd got a little bit more flow into it. It kind of looks a little bit static at the moment. What I would usually do is take a liner needle, a single or a tight 3, and start doing single strands of hair to give that movement to the hair and to not make it as static. Now what I mean by static is it's just there, it's just still. Like you've got direction but there's no flow to it. It kind of looks like Think of it like if you'd have gelled your hair, right? You got a clump of hair, gelled it together, and then just like straightened the hair out. And then you could literally like pretend my phone's hair, like hold the hair up like that, and it's just like whew, that tough and that gelled up that there's just nothing to it. It's just static, it's just stationary. That's the kind of thing that I have. I hope that analogy works. It's the only thing I could think of, but I hope you get what I mean from that. So I would have added more flow to the hair by adding those single strands and not making it as static. And then finally, what I would have done is just add more smears of blood in the background, not just on the actual blood splats, but like smear blood around everywhere as well, not just in those areas. But that is Otis. Now, last but certainly not least, we are on to the V for Vendetta tattoo. Now, coming straight in, this tattoo is not as smooth as I would want it to be. My standard of smooth, this does not even come close to it. So I wish it was smoother. I don't know why. I can't tell you why it wasn't as smooth. Maybe I was working a little bit too fast that day. Maybe I was, messing with a different voltage, different needles, stuff like that, all right? But I wish that it was a lot smoother than it is. It's relatively smooth, but it's not my standard of smooth. The smoke on the left-hand side of the V for Vendetta mask, anonymous mask, there is smoke, but it doesn't quite come across as smoke like I wanted it to. So I wish that I'd spent a little bit more time just refining that smoke, making it a little bit better. You can tell it's smoke, but that's only because you correlate it with the bottom of the tattoo. So you can tell the smoke runs throughout. But if the bottom wasn't there, would you have been able to tell it was smoke? Maybe, but maybe not. Now, coming down onto the building. Now, this building did have quite a big light source on the left-hand side. So I tattooed the building how I seen it. It's as simple as that. But what I wish I'd done is just blend it out just a little bit more into the smoke, so you could see through the smoke that there was building behind it, but you couldn't make out the features of the building. Not just stop it right there. I wish that I just blended it out just a little bit more. And then that same goes on the black buildings down the wrist. It just stops. What I should have done is blend those blacks down into the skin so it's more cohesive to the skin rather than just planted on there. But that is just an aesthetic look that I like for my tattoos. As a whole, again, I personally don't feel like it's a bad tattoo, but there is flaws in this tattoo. However, this tattoo was used in my latest POV, and it explains saturation without overworking. So if you've not seen it, I highly recommend you go check it out after you finish this video. But guys, that is all for today. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you guys join me today. If you are new around here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Do not forget to like the video, and do not forget to drop a comment on the video. As always, I am open to discussions. And I will see you all in the next video. By the way, if you want to join my Patreon, links in the description. Bye.